What is going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you for the next of my Royal Rumble match recap and review retro series as well. Of course, if you didn't catch my fantasy booking video, I literally couldn't sleep last night because I drank so much caffeine. So I was up late and I made that video real quickly here. So I said I would do this review first thing in the morning when I woke up. Well, after a nice pancake breakfast, I'm ready to get started. So let's get started with this. Again, I'm hoping to get the 95 and 96 Rumble videos done with today since I didn't get to do any Rumble videos yesterday. Just get back on track. That way, again, I get all 30 Rumble matches done by the January 28th pay-per-view. So I should get them all done by then. I just need to, stay on track with them and not slack off too much. But let's talk about the 1994 Royal Rumble, which, despite being during a time where it wasn't really a good time at all for the World Wrestling Federation, again, the steroid era, a lot of superstars leaving the WWF and going to WCW, the Hogan era was done and whatnot, I think this one was probably the best Royal Rumble during that time, the 94 Royal Rumble. It was pretty solid for the most part, still had a lot of no names in there, but they had some people in there who were starting to make an impact as well. And there were feuds that actually did go on, and the ending to this match also did lead to, a pretty good WrestleMania. Probably one of the better WrestleManias we had seen in the first 10. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. This Royal Rumble took place on January 22nd, 1994, at the Providence Civic Center in Providence, Rhode Island. And the stipulation was, for the second year in a row, the stipulation was the number one contendership for the World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Championship at Wrestlemania. Now, this Royal Rumble, though, Vince McMahon announced before it started that instead of having 2 minutes in between each entrant, they went down to 90 seconds, which 90 seconds is alright. 2 minutes I'm fine with that too. 90 seconds, though, it's okay. Because this run will be just a tad bit shorter than the average. Most of them are like a little bit over an hour. This one was about like 55 minutes, I think, which, to me, it's still alright. Next year's Royal Rumble, though, they did something completely different, and it's one of the reasons why it is considered one of the worst Royal Rumbles of all time. But yeah, and before the match started, Vince announced there were several superstars who were unable to compete in this Royal Rumble. And they were replaced by a few others. I can't remember them off the top of my head. There was one of them, though, for sure that, was supposed to be in the match but didn't show up. So they just completely, bypassed their spot altogether. And that was Bastion Booger, actually, who that happened to. But let's get into this Rumble. The first entrant was Scott Steiner. That's right, the Steiner brothers. This is when they first started coming around, and then followed by Samu at number 2. So those two are going at it. And then number 3 was Scott's brother or partner Rick Steiner, and they came in there and they double teamed up on Samu, but then Samu would eventually be eliminated by one of the Steiner brothers, followed by Kwong, a newcomer. I do not know who the heck he is, but he was somebody I know who was a replacement of somebody else in this match as well. Coming in at number 4. Number 5 was Owen Hart. Now, to keep in mind also, this was before WrestleMania 10. This is around the time where Owen Hart turned heel on Bret Hart, and it set for that really great opening match. A lot of people consider that like the best opener in WrestleMania history. Again, to me, it's either that one or the Triple H Daniel Bryan match at WrestleMania 30. Which still, to me, I can't decide which one I like better. But yeah, that's what this started. And if all things though that was disappointing in this match, I think what is disappointing is Owen didn't get as good of a Rumble appearance. He didn't last that long in this match. Like with him, the reason heel turn, it would have been nice to have the last longer. But there was a heel, was someone though in this match that was a heel that lasted quite a good amount of time, and he was the guy who I think got more established, despite his run in the World Wrestling Federation not being that long. Most of the time was in WCW, but we'll talk about him shortly. But Owen Hart would come in, and he would eliminate Rick Steiner. Number 6 was Bart Gunn. This is when Bart Gunn and Billy Gunn were the Smoking Guns. He came in at number 6. Now here was the man who had probably the best, one of the strongest, probably had the strongest showing in this Royal Rumble, and that's Diesel, or as we all know him as Kevin Nash. This was the first time he made an appearance in the Royal Rumble. I don't think he did one next year because he was the champion, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I think he was a champion going into WrestleMania 11 next year. But this is the time when him and Shawn Michaels were together. He was pretty much Shawn Michaels' bodyguard. Um, anyway, to some titles it was throughout 1994, which led to HBK facing Diesel for the title at next year's WrestleMania. But this Rumble with the crowd reaction it got, this is when they decided to give Diesel a pretty good push, which it was all right, but it probably wasn't the strongest. I think he was the babyface in the feud, and Shawn Michaels was still the heel whenever they split them. I can't remember off the top of my head though, but he had a very strong showing in this match. He just started cleaning house. He would eliminate Bart Gunn. He would eliminate Scott Steiner. He would then eliminate Owen Hart, which again I was disappointed by that because I know a lot of people felt that Owen should have had more time in this match than he got. And then Kwong. He eliminated all four of them in the first 90 seconds he was in there. So for a while, Diesel was a guy who was just, dumping guys out left and right, just looking good. So he would have some breathing room here and there. So number 8 was Mr. Bob Backlund, who had that like Iron Man appearance in last year's Royal Rumble match with over an hour, saying that the record for the longest time, he beat Ric Flair's time. He would come in, but he wouldn't last too long as Diesel eliminated him. And number 9 was Billy Gunn. And Billy Gunn got then eliminated by Diesel. So Diesel was tearing it up. And then backstage, I guess Yokozuna. This was around the time before I get to Yokozuna, because I'd be giving away the winner. This is around the time where the World Wrestling Federation was trying to really. They were Roman Reigns. They're treating Lex Luger like Roman Reigns, making the American Dream, doing everything they can to get the crowd to like him, and it was not really working. Well, I guess there was a stipulation where Luger was not allowed to get a title opportunity, but I guess he signed some contract before this Royal Rumble, allowed him to compete in it. But Yokozuna and them were still going out of their way to make sure Luger doesn't get into the match. Again, probably trying to continue to build more babyface sympathy on Lex Luger, because again, they're trying to make him the big top guy of the company, but it just was not working. And Luger, I believe, after this year or after next year, goes to WCW as well. But during his time, we show backstage that he's getting beat down by the champion Yokozuna's two guys that Yokozuna handpicked to be by his side, the Great Kabuki and Genichiro Tenryu, and so they were just they were beating him down. Number 10 was Virgil, who was also a replacement for somebody. Again, I can't remember who was all supposed to be in this match or had to be replaced. But he didn't really get eliminated by Diesel. Number 11, finally, people who weren't, getting eliminated left and right by Diesel. Like Diesel was getting the upper hand, having a strong show, but someone who, literally gave him the run for his money, was the Macho Man, Randy Savage. The final Royal Rumble match for the Macho Man, as he would go on to WCW after WrestleMania this year, as he did feud with Crush, which that feud was furthered in this match as well. He would come in there, and he wasn't an easy elimination for Diesel at all, but he remained in there. Jeff Jarrett came in number 12, and then Savage would eliminate him. Now number 13 was Crush, and again, he was the guy who Savage was feuding with. They led to that Falls Count Anywhere match at WrestleMania 10, but the stipulation was you had to be back in the ring for 60 seconds also after getting your opponent outside of the ring as well. I think it led to that match as well, which that match was strange with the rules, but it still wasn't too bad from what I remember seeing at WrestleMania 10. He came at number 13. Number 14 was Doink the Clown. And then Crush would eliminate Savage, continuing their feud again. Number 15 was Bam Bam Bigelow, who him and Doink the Clown were feuding. They were supposed to have their feud was supposed to end apparently at Survivor Series 1993, but instead they made a match with I forgot who was on Bam Bam Bigelow's team. They tried making a match with Doink the Clown and the Bushwhackers as the mini Doinks, or he had his mini sidekick Dink. And I guess Bigelow wasn't liking the pranks that he would pull on him, so it led to a match between them at WrestleMania. Um, he came in and he did eliminate Doink the Clown. Bigelow did. Number 16 was Mabel. Number 17 was then Therma Plug. Number 18 was the showstopper himself, HBK, Shawn Michaels. But when HBK came in, Diesel was eliminated by the four man alliance of Crush, Plug, Mabel, and Bigelow. Number 19 was Mo, who will later be called Sir Mo. Number 20 was Greg the Hammer Valentine. I think this was his last Royal Rumble match as well, as he was coming down to the end of his career. Tatanka came in number 21, which one of the guys who had to be taken out of this Rumble because of an ankle injury. I can't remember what his name was. Here, I have the notes right here. Let me see. Who was it that broke the ankle? Ludwig Borga. He was in a feud with Tatanka, but apparently he never returned to the World Wrestling Federation after that ankle injury. So I guess he was in a feud with Tatanka at the time, but they didn't get to finish their feud as well. But yeah, Tatanka number 21. Number 22 was the Great Kabuki, who came in, and then Mabel was eliminated by a big group of people, which he was a big man. Well, he would later go on to be called Viscera. But Mabel was eliminated by Bam Bam Bigelow, Crush, the Great Kabuki, Greg Valentine, Shawn Michaels, Tatanka, and Plug. Eliminated by how many people? That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people took to eliminate Mabel. Now, number 23 was Lex Luger, but he came out looking just fine, not selling off that he got beat up or anything from the attack earlier. And he would eliminate the Great Kabuki to get back at him for the beatdown. Again, number 25. No, I'm sorry, I missed one. Number 24 was Kabuki's the guy who attacked Luger, also Genichiro Tenryu. Number 25 was supposed to be Bastion Booger, but he didn't show up, and Vince McMahon said he was sick. Number 26 was Rick Martel. Number 27 was Bret Hart. Now, when Bret Hart came out, though, he had a knee injury from a previous match as well. In this, was he on the card in this show? I thought he was, though, but oh yeah, I'm sorry. He was he was in a tag match earlier when Owen officially turned heel on Bret earlier in the night, and he faced a beatdown as well because of that. And he really sold the knee injury he suffered from it very well as well. Or like Lex Luger, who did not sell any type of injury, but Bret Hart wrestled this pretty much with a kayfabe bad knee as well, and he came in number 27. Number 28 was Fatu, who would then later be known as Rikishi, the father of Jimmy and Jey Uso, and then Crush got eliminated by a crew of people. He got eliminated by Bigelow, Bret Hart, Lex Luger, and Plug. Number 29 was Marty Jannetty, and then of course he would go in there. He would brawl with HBK because they're foreign tag partners, and why not? Why would they still like each other or not like each other at this point? So they still brawl with each other. And it also, again, we had 2 backstage brawls. We showed them backstage, Crush and Savage brawling. So again, it was continuing their the tension for their feud for their Falls Count Anywhere match at WrestleMania 10. And then number 30 was Adam Bomb, which I guess Vince McMahon was really pushing this because he wanted to see him win. Now I believe I heard also this was a record for the most amount of entrants in a Royal Rumble match that was still in the match when number 30 hit, which is a surprise, especially with Diesel cleaning house earlier, really eliminating everybody in his path. So there was 11 people though when the final entrant entered the Royal Rumble. Plug would then be eliminated by Bret Hart. Greg the Hammer Valentine was eliminated by Rick Martel. But then Martel then immediately be eliminated by Tatanka. Adam Bomb was eliminated by Lex Luger. Mo was eliminated by Fatu. Tatanka would then be eliminated by Bam Bam Bigelow. Bigelow would then be eliminated by Lex Luger. Marty Jannetty would be eliminated by Shawn Michaels. And then Tenryu would be eliminated by the double team of Hart and Luger. So the final 4 in this match were HBK, Lex Luger, Bret the Hitman Hart, and Fatu. And then, but at the same time, we would have Michaels get eliminated by Lex Luger and Fatu be eliminated by Owen Hart. So Luger and Hart were the final two remaining in the match, but then they would both eliminate each other at the same time. Their feet literally did touch at the same time. It wasn't like this past year at the battle in 2017 at that battle royal for a new number one contendership for Bray Wyatt's world title at WrestleMania after Randy Orton briefly relinquished his championship opportunity to play more mind games with Bray Wyatt. But like that match, it was obvious that I think it was like Harper's feet touched the floor first, or Styles' feet touched the floor first. Can't remember which one it was, but it was obvious that their feet didn't touch at the same time. One of them did touch first, but this time it literally did touch at the same time. The referees are going back and forth of who won the match. At first, they announced it was Lex Luger, but then they announced it was Bret Hart. It was just all this confusion, and then finally, they came to a decision that both of them won. So for the first, I believe, only time we had co-winners for the Royal Rumble match, as both Bret Hart and Lex Luger were announced as the winners. Now, they did decide the night after that they would both get title opportunities at WrestleMania, but of course, one of them would probably have to wrestle twice. Quite possibly. In the coin toss, Luger won the chance to face Yokozuna first, which that match ended in a DQ at WrestleMania, and then Bret Hart would face him second, but Bret Hart also had this stuff going on with his brother Owen Hart, which led to the match that they had at WrestleMania 10, the opening match, and Owen actually did beat Bret, but Bret still had his title opportunity, but it did lead to a feud between them following WrestleMania 10 as well, after Bret beat Yokozuna for the championship, gaining back the win back that he lost the year before WrestleMania 9 at Caesar's Palace. We're not going to talk about that again. So yeah, a strange ending as well. But again, the only time I believe we had co-winners for the Royal Rumble match, which again was Bret the Hitman Hart and Lex Luger. But yeah, so that is pretty much the recap of this Rumble. Now let's just go through the entrance again and just talk about and just share their times, how many eliminations they had. So we had Scott Steiner enter first. He was in there for 9 minutes, had 1 elimination. Samu was in there for 3 minutes and 13 seconds, no eliminations. Rick Steiner was in there for 3:57, no eliminations. Kwong, 5:57, no eliminations. Owen Hart, 4 minutes and 10 seconds, 1 elimination. Again, one of the bigger disappointments about this Rumble was that Owen Hart only got like a short amount of time, and there would have been nice to, have him get a little bit longer since he just recently turned heel and have give him some good momentum going. But of course, that match against Bret Hart at WrestleMania 10 gave him, a lot, because that was a really darn good match. Bart Gunn was only there for 2.5 minutes with no eliminations. Diesel was in there for 17 minutes and 41 seconds. He had 7 eliminations, the most dominating person in this match probably. Bob Backlund was in there for 41 seconds, no eliminations. Billy Gunn, no eliminations in 14 seconds. And then Virgil was in there for 32 seconds, no eliminations. So yeah, everybody was getting eliminated left and right by Diesel when they first came in. Then number 11 was Randy Savage. He was in there for 4 minutes and 38 seconds. He had 1 elimination. Number 12 was Jeff Jarrett. He was only there for 1:19. He had no eliminations. Number 13 was Crush, who was in there for 25 minutes and 3 seconds. He had 3 eliminations, so not too bad of a showing for Crush. Doink the Clown was in there for 1:48. He had no eliminations. Bam Bam Bigelow was in there for 30 minutes and 12 seconds, 5 eliminations, not too bad. Mabel was in there for 9 minutes and 57 seconds, 1 elimination. Thurman Plug was in there for 21 minutes and 33 seconds, 3 eliminations. HBK was in there for 29 minutes and 17 seconds, probably one of his better Rumble showings at that time. He had 3 eliminations. Mo was in there for 22 minutes and 46 seconds. He didn't have any eliminations. Greg Valentine was in there for 20 minutes and 39 seconds. He had 1 elimination. Tatanka was in there for 20 minutes and 7 seconds, 2 eliminations. The Great Kabuki was in there for 2 minutes and 46 seconds. He had 1 elimination. Lex Luger was in there for 21 minutes and 58 seconds. He had 6 eliminations. Genichiro Tenryu was in there for 17 minutes and 21 seconds. He had no eliminations. Bastion Booger did not come out because of an illness, so he had no eliminations in there for no time at all. Rick Martel was in there for 11 minutes and 22 seconds, 1 elimination. Bret Hitman Hart was in there for 15 minutes and 48 seconds. Despite being having a bad knee, he had 4 eliminations, so he had a pretty good showing as well. Fatu was in there for 13 minutes and 4 seconds, one elimination. Marty Jannetty was in there for 8 minutes and 18 seconds, no eliminations. And Adam Bomb was in there for 4 minutes, 4 minutes and 55 seconds, and he had no eliminations. So that we had some guys had some pretty good shows in this Rumble. Again, there's been some Royal Rumbles where people do get a lot of time, like the 1991 Rumble, but they didn't really do much at all. But this one, we had some guys who was in there for a good amount of time and got a good amount of eliminations. I'd say to actually look like they actually did something in the match, not just hung around or Santina Morella the match and just was stood in a corner and no one actually touched them at all. So that would be pretty boring. But we got some pretty good shows in there, especially from Diesel as well. He probably was the biggest star of this match. But the longest time was Bam Bam Bigelow with 30 minutes and 12 seconds, nowhere close to the record, but not too bad. The most eliminations was by Diesel, who will later be known as Kevin Nash in WCW, with 7. And the total duration of this match was 55 minutes and 8 seconds. A little bit shorter because they had 90 seconds in between entrants, which I think 90 seconds is all right. 90 seconds or 2 minutes is right where I think it's just fine where it should be as well. 2 minutes will give it a little bit more time, but 90 seconds again, I think it's fine also. So overall, again, this wasn't. Despite it being, again, during a time where the talent was running thin, there was a lot of, no names in this match that were just replacing some of these bigger names because of injuries or other circumstances as well. But for the most part, I think wasn't too bad of a match as well. We saw Diesel have a good showing in there as well. Lex Luger, despite the fact that they tried to push him being the American hero, I gotta give credit. He did pretty good as well. Bret Hart did well. I wish they would give more time to Owen Hart. Bam Bam Bigelow seemed to do pretty good in this match. So we got a pretty good amount of good showings in this match. This is why I want to give this Royal Rumble a B-. Probably my second favorite one I've seen so far. Unfortunately, the next several Royal Rumbles don't really get a good Royal Rumble for quite a while now. But we're gonna get through those quickly and hopefully talk about those not too painfully. But yeah, so what grade would you give the 1994 Royal Rumble match? What do you think of them having co-winners for this match as well? What it led to at WrestleMania 10? Do you think Owen Hart should have had a little bit more time in this Royal Rumble match? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, and be sure to always click that like and subscribe button for more content to come on this channel. And follow me on Twitter at DemandAirborne93, and I will be trying to at least do the 95 and 96 Rumbles today as well. If I do more, awesome. If not, if I can get those next two done, that'd be awesome. So thank you guys again for tuning in to this Royal Rumble retro review and recap video. And until then, guys, I will see you all later. Have a great day.